Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, once again. This time round, I am delighted to have the Consul of Norway, Mr. Fredrik Abdelmaguid, with me this afternoon. Fredrik, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me here.
And it's great to be at AnchorCon. As I've said, this is a new platform, part of the Maritime CEO's stable. So I'm looking forward to having some interesting conversations and hoping that our audience members, as well as myself, can get some insight as to what you are doing here in Mumbai. Fredrik, I recall last year at Maritime CEO, the new Consul General of Mumbai mentioned she had just moved to the city. So I'm trying to figure out, how long have you been in the city?
So, yes, I've been here for a very long time. I was arrived just a week before Monica. So I've been here for about a year. So.
Okay, all right, about a year then. And what's the verdict? The sights and sounds of Mumbai? Is it truly incredible India?
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and I just must say that it's kind of, I'm just being a bit, I'm honored to be here on stage and being part of Maritime CEO, and it's kind of a bit intimidating as well, being almost 50 man and going to talking about women's empowerment. But yeah, Mumbai, I like Mumbai. It's the hustle and bustle of Mumbai is great. There's a plethora of restaurants to choose from.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to be talking to Fredrik after this. I need some recommendations for tomorrow. Fredrik, you know, when we talk about advancing women and gender equality and female empowerment, it's more than a job. So you're not only here because you're part of the Consulate General of Norway. All of us who do this, we're fueled by a passion. There's something in our DNA that hardwires us to make the time to further these conversations. For me, it was having a father who didn't discriminate between his daughters and his sons. That's my personal context. I was always raised to believe I could do anything. So what fuels you? Where's your passion for advancing women in the sector coming from? What's your story?
Yeah, so I guess I was an adult before I realized that was actually an issue, because I grew up with 3 older sisters. They grew up believing they could do whatever they wanted, and they've done it whatever they wanted. They're all highly they're well-educated, master's degrees, and doing and leading positions in all their professions. And so I was well into my 20s before I realized that this isn't the case in all the world, and it's not even the case in all of Norway in all industries. So so to me, it's something worth fighting for, that it should be a natural thing, right?
That's awesome. So we've got the right man for the job. He was raised with 3 sisters, so he's the right guy, definitely. Fredrik, I would imagine that, you know, one of the primary goals of the Consul General is supporting, obviously, Norwegian commercial interests in the region. And a significant portion of those interests would be related to the maritime sector and the blue economy. Would you say that is fair? And would you share a bit of insights as to, just on the commercial front, what it is that the Consul General supports and advances?
Yeah, so you're right. It's trade promotion is a very big part of the presence of the Consulate General in Mumbai, and maritime is one of the biggest industries and sectors for Norway. So so I would say that perhaps 80% of my time is spent on work promotion, at least. No, trade promotion, not work promotion, but trade promotion. But we do cover Maharashtra, Goa, and Gujarat, so naturally the maritime sector is big. But we do also cover energy and circular economy as part of the India strategy. So also big sectors, yeah.
Okay. And in 2022, I remember that the Norwegian Consulate was a platinum partner for Maritime CEO. Can you give us some insights? 22, we 3 years down the line. Can you share with us the collaboration and the initiatives that have been forwarded in the sector here in Mumbai and in those other states that you've mentioned?
So this is kind of ingrained in the policies of Norway, that gender equality and everything. So and the long-standing partnership with Maritime CEO is just strengthened this. And of course, this wouldn't happen without Sanjam. Her enthusiasm and engagement. This is important, right? But it's also important for Norway in general that gender equality creates. It's not just fair, but it also makes sense business-wise. So it's ingrained in what we talk about when we do policy, and even it's part of Chapter 11 in the TEPA agreement, the trade agreement between the EFTA and India. So and it just made sense to collaborate with the Maritime CEO on this and keep working on this. I would like to say that we were here from the start, but I am not sure if we actually were sponsors here in the beginning, but for many, many years at least. Okay. Good.
Right at the start, okay.
Yeah, very good.
As my recollection serves me, that is correct. So Fredrik, I mean, that's on a broad level, the collaboration and the framework for which the Norwegian Consulate General bases what they do and their program for advancing women. But practically, can you tell us and maybe share with the audience, practically, what are the tangibles that we can see that stem from this collaboration? I mean, one of them is us being here and you being here and the Consulate General being here. That is the active participation. So it's not a talk shop. We see the participation. But, I also don't have the foresight of living in India and in Mumbai. So can you share for people like me, what's the practical outcomes of this collaboration?
Well, so as I mentioned, it's not just fair, and because it actually creates business, it creates value, and yeah, we see this today. We have Norwegian companies present here at Maritime CEO. Gard is here. We had Kongsberg at yesterday. Birgitte Lioden was a conference here, and it just makes sense. And what we're actually the funding we use to support this is actually business promotion funds, so it makes sense business-wise. In addition, it's ethically the correct thing to do.
Right.
But it's hard to measure in the short run. You have initiatives. You see a slow increase that in the maritime sector, that there might be more and more women, but it's slow in overall, but some sectors there's more. I guess in law it's quite balanced, or even tipped over, that there might be even more female lawyers than male. But as seafarers, it's still very, very low, and
it's
incremental. In Norway,
it's incremental though.
Yeah.
It's increasing, but it's still very low. And I think I just want to pick up on the point that you mentioned about the Norwegian companies that were here. So whatever your efforts are and your program to advance women empowerment in the sector, you're not doing it alone. You are taking other people on the journey. You have support from your commercial organizations, which is great, because normally these programs and the framework is pushed out from a government perspective. And it's very difficult to convince corporates as to why this is the ethical or the right thing to do. So maybe just a little bit more on how your partners come to support you as a consulate in this journey.
Sure. and of course, we do have this maritime strategy that was released in 2023, I guess. And actually this year, in March of this year, there was also a collaboration declaration to actually get the policy into action. So a lot of companies have signed up to this declaration so that there's more tangible efforts. They are measured, they have to come together twice a year at the minimum to discuss their progress. So, and there are other initiatives that we did discuss earlier today about, like the WISTA 40 by 30.
Yes.
Which, although it's not a government project, but it's something that, of course, the government looks at. It's positive because it creates a peer pressure that everyone is working against tangible goals in the short term. It's 5 years.
Yeah, and with 40 by 30, which is a pledge by WISTA Norway, it's a question of watching what your competitors do.
Yeah.
You hope that will fuel other organizations to follow through. Fredrik, the gender strategy or the equality strategy for the maritime sector, which your Minister of Trade and Industry published, and now that strategy has 4 key pillars. Would you mind sharing some of your perspectives on those 4 pillars and how it is executed in practice?
Yeah, I have to look at my notes a little bit because it's all in Norwegian, so now it's translated to English, so make sure they have the right terms because they translate quite similar. So
it's literal, it's a literal translation.
Yeah, I don't know if it's literal or not, but it's similar at least. But recruitment and role models is important, right? You need, and that's what I've seen today. It's so great to see at India Maritime Week and yesterday at the Maritime CEO as well, that there are so many students that are brought in to see the opportunities in the maritime sector. You need to know that it's happening there. And of course, yesterday you also had the opportunity for the female sailors and cadets to meet these successful role models, easy access to talk to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's only point 1, role models.
Okay. All right. So that's the first pillar of that strategy. Okay.
And then an inclusive working environment for all. I've talked a little bit about this with our interns, and it's just the maritime sector is a business that was created by men for men. So I think many of the work environment has to change to adapt to actually be suitable for both women and men, and not make the women adapt to the male work environment.
So I always say that, and Monica is here, and there's a couple of lawyers in the room. It's like when lawyers go to board meetings or to court, we are told to only dress up in black and white, and even in the boardrooms, you find all the female lawyers, nobody wants, and here I am as proof, wearing black and white. Nobody wants to wear color because we want to conform. We don't want anybody to be distracted by your pink dress in a board meeting, right? Yeah. So I think it's about finding, and the other panel, that was a little bit of a contentious discussion before we came on. That was the thing. You have to find the balance.
Yeah.
You want to own your individuality, you want equality, but we also want the time to come where we stop saying a female shipping lawyer, a female chief engineer. We should reach the stage where we can just say a chief engineer, advocate. We shouldn't have to put a female because it should become status quo.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I did listen into the last panel discussion, and that's the third pillar. It's harassment, right? So
we didn't plan this, by the way. We didn't ask those guys before us to say anything.
No. So, and as you see on the picture behind me, I actually like to wear color a lot. So, but today I'm wearing
Pink.
Pink and
Fredrik's
blue.
wearing pink. Okay. So are those the two interns from your office?
Yes, that's Kaya
And
Philippa.
Monica. So now I see you've got another 3
Yeah.
sisters in your life.
Yeah.
Oh, and
And
another.
Shubhra, yeah.
Okay, there's 4. Okay, well done, ladies. You all got him. He's on the right track.
Yeah. So and then in this translation there are 4 pillars, and
Yes.
but 2 and 4 translates kind of to the same thing. It's an inclusive work environment and also a tailored workplace. So it's very similar.
Fredrik, they can't see it, but we can. You see the big red screen there?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you the last question. What do you think we will be saying about advancing women in maritime in 5 years, right here in Mumbai? What will the conversation be?
So I want to focus on perhaps what I want to hear, maybe not what will happen, but
Okay, I'll allow you that. I'll allow you that.
No, and I listened yesterday as well, and we talked about it. There's an incremental growth in the number of women. I would like to hear that in 5 years there's an exponential growth. So that we actually see that all of these measures and talks and everything really increase the amount of women in the maritime industry, and we just have to keep on working and creating an environment that people can jump on this wave that is slowly building, and it's like the wave on the stadium, right? It starts slow and then it builds up, and it creates a lot of fuss. So and eventually it calms down and everything's normal. And I think when it calms down, everything is equal. You can be an engineer. There's no female. There's no male.
I think he said it best. I'm going to allow him the last word. Exponential growth in 5 years. That's what we're going to say.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the organizers of Maritime CEO for all their hard work and for inviting me to moderate this fireside chat. Fredrik, thank you, and thank you to your team for their support. And thank you, Monica, as well. And I think we all appreciate the support, and we all are committed. It goes a lot beyond our day job. It's a passion to do this every day and to believe that you will create the exponential growth. Thank you very much.